Hello, welcome to today's Back to the City. Welcome, LYDIA, LIZA.
Hello.
And Spencer. Let's dive into this record.
Yeah.
The opening track, the intro, it really sets the scene quite wonderfully, I think. It's it reminded me a little bit of kind of Kid A, but then like the bass comes in and it's so nourishing, I think. What were you going for with that intro?
Nourishment. That's such a nice way to put it.
Yeah, really just sort of like there are several instrumental moments throughout the album that I think help to sort of reset a scene, sort of, because the album is 12 tracks, which is really like 8 songs and 4 sort of transitional pieces.
Yeah, those little songs.
Right, but in terms of how they function in the album as a whole.
LYDIA's vocals on there.
Yeah, or the vocals are not like featured in the way you traditionally feature vocals. So that intro and those other instrumental pieces, to me, sort of connect these songs that are fairly different from each other. Anywhere from the last track on the album is basically guitar and vocals. Yeah,
I think that's my favorite song of 2020. It's likely to remain my favorite song of 2020 by the time that we're hopefully transitioning. I was
gonna say we're only like 2 weeks in, but thank you.
Oh my god!
It's the first song I've heard this year. So anywhere from just like guitar and vocals to these like almost dance tracks in the middle that are like fully produced and no melody, really, and like so there's a wide range, and it moves quickly between those different modes. And so I think those, for me, or my goal with those instrumental pieces was to sort of connect those different sections of the album.
Awesome. Okay, well let's break it down into the different sections then.
Sure.
Section 1, sandwiched between intro and the wonderfully titled All Hail Heartbreak, has 2 proper songs in it, Driving Down the 5 and More Than This.
Yeah.
So what is it about those 2 songs that unites them, that makes it make sense to put them together in that particular sandwich?
Yeah. Man, I don't think we even thought that far ahead. But that was my favorite thing about the interview we did was I found so many patterns after the fact. I mean, these songs are kind of the same, semi-same subject matter.
And I guess I'm looking at more from a
production.
Sonic standpoint of songs that transition well into one another, in and out of one another. Songs with similar instrumentation and arrangement. Both those songs have the string quartet on them and are structured somewhat similarly.
And there's some sax on the album, which is at least some of that's presumably Nelson.
All of it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's all Nelson.
All the woodwinds,
in
flutes.
cat sax.
Yeah.
Looking at those 2 songs in the first part, a recurring lyrical focus I'm noticing is on fire. Burning like a live fire in the forefront of my mind in Driving Down the 5. And then, I am the gasoline to your fiery belief that you're more than this, in More Than This.
Yeah.
So bringing light, bringing fire, the good energy. The whole album is nourishing, I think.
That is so beautiful. Yeah, at the time when I wrote Driving Down the 5, some of the lyrical content, at least, I was in California, and there were wildfires. So that really like colored my experience. But so I think that became a recurring theme. Not on purpose, it just did.
Another recurring theme throughout the record is touching hands. reaching for my hand in More Than This
Wow.
is the first instance of that. So I think there's a lot about trust.
Yeah.
Building trust and connection and the barriers
Yeah.
to that, and overcoming the barriers and recognizing when there's a barrier that's unlikely to be overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yes. I just love listening to you tell me about what I wrote, because I don't think about it that hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just
but
so
you
cool.
feel it that hard, and that's
Yeah.
why the coherence is there.
It's just so fun to have you translate that. I just really thank you.
Well, and it's a different perspective too, in
Yeah.
terms of like, you're listening to this as 1:30 whatever minute piece.
Yes.
Whereas you wrote it over the course of a couple of years. And so those themes
Yeah.
are a lot more obvious if you're taking it in all at once versus
That's true.
creating it over 2 or 3 years or whatever we
That
took.
is true.
How did you determine which lyrics or which songs became a part of this project?
Well, a couple years ago, I think I was in Ireland visiting my sister. And while I was there, I texted Spencer. It was like a few months after I had gotten sober, and I was like, all right, dude, we're doing this. We're making this record. And then the minute I got home, we started to get together weekly for like 2 years, pretty much.
That must have
And
been horrible.
oh, just
Hanging
awful.
out every week making music.
Oh
is
God,
the
it was
worst.
terrible. And
You don't get along very well. So.
no. And at the same time, I was starting to get really into writing poetry, and I was trying to find different ways to translate the way I was experiencing life with such clarity, because I hadn't lived like that for years because I was drinking. And I was just hyper creative in finding all these outlets, and a lot of the poetry that I ended up writing ended up being lyrics for this record.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that was kind of how that went.
that's great.
And honestly, the selection process was, do we like this song?
Yeah, it was.
And I think we, because of the way that we were working in writing, 1 or 2 things a week over many, many weeks,
Yeah,
we kind of hit a stride maybe a
year
into that. And so most of the stuff that ended up on the album came from the later portion of us working together regularly.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff early on that got scrapped.
Oh yeah.
That's actually in Driving Down the 5 that the other reference to hands happens. So these 2 songs both have that. It can be scary to be alone, and slightly after that, to have your hand wrapped up in mine. So it could be scary to be alone, it can be scary to be together.
Yeah.
And this record is, in a very nourishing way, leaning into that fear
Yeah.
and alchemizing. It becomes
Totally.
less scary.
Totally.
Yeah.
That is absolutely.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Everything
So
can be
beautiful.
scary.
Everything.
Yeah. And also we're journeying, driving down the 5. So what kind of journey are we going on at the beginning of the record, and then as we then transition into part 2, which will have the songs Life in Here, I Am Only Thee.
Yeah. For Driving Down the 5, I was on tour with Justin Courtney Pierre, and I was like falling madly in love with this guy. And so I started writing that about him.
About Justin?
No, not Justin.
Okay. Just clarifying.
Not Justin, a totally different person. But good point. Love
that phrasing.
Justin.
That ambiguity.
Yeah, so I was falling totally in love with a different guy, and I was the youngest person on this tour, and I was feeling like really isolated. And that's why I was writing so much poetry, as I was like sad and lonely and sober and in a van and like, I don't know, taking in all this landscape that I hadn't seen before.
What's the process?
I just like got a notebook out, and then I would just like frantically write.
And that became part of that became a process.
Yeah, definitely. It's still the process that I've come up with, is just like really just making sure I write a lot every day, and then taking that apart and making it into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Digging deep,
Exactly.
discovering.
Yeah.
Within.
And then More Than This is about just a real D-bag. I had a conversation with this guy, and he's yeah, and he had said that he had a problem dating women who were too driven, and it really just pissed me off. So I wrote a whole song to set him on fire.
I like your reaction to this douchebag. I'm thankful for the douchebag.
Thank God he exists for a good song. Yeah.
Yes. All Hail Heartbreak. Why Hail Heartbreak? I have a sense, but
that one's fun because I made that song and you named it.
Yeah. That's also from a poem that I wrote about how powerful heartbreak is.
Yeah. Because it shakes things up.
Oh yeah. Oh, it really ruins.
It is. It's motivated whole bunches of things throughout history.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Shakespeare. Yeah. The entirety of his work.
What would Bill have written about otherwise?
I have no idea.
The heartbreak.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know one person who hasn't been like, God damn.
Yeah.
About heartbreak.
Oh boy. Gratitude for heartbreak.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful
it's
thing.
like the common thread between all of us too, I think. Because we've all experienced that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's about as close to a universal experience as you can get.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And not just with romantic love, whenever we feel let down or things are going awry.
Oh yeah.
In interpersonal relations.
I think we've all been wildly disappointed with something, someone, or ourselves at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think so too.
All of the above.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
At the same time, yes. Often.
How does that set the scene for the next two songs?
Next to our
Life in Here and I Am Only Thee.
Oh yeah, the two rap songs.
The two rap songs. I think we just put them together because they're two rap songs.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that simple, you know?
Sometimes life is that easy.
Sometimes it doesn't always have to be deep.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these rap songs are Sims. Sounds like Sims. Yeah.
It is Sims,
I recognize Sims. So in Life in Here, it's nice and succinct and clear. The scenario is waiting for the summer, excuses. So putting things off, mindfulness about one doing that. Maybe we're wildly disappointed in ourselves for putting things off.
Exactly.
And we're calling ourselves out.
Yeah.
On that.
That's exactly.
Excuses.
Yeah.
And how did it was a trio for this one with Sims. How did this song end up being called Life is Here? With what degree, what's the relationship between your lyrics, Lydia, and Sims's?
So we took apart a song that I had written.
Yeah.
Some of the songs, I came in with my acoustic guitar and I'm like, hey, I got a song, here you go. And then we would take away the guitar and make it into something else. But with this one, it was a song I had already written. We took part of it that sounds, we took the chorus and then we had a riff where I was just singing I got life in here over and over again, and then you messed with it. And then we used the chorus and then made some bar spots and then
a verse, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bar spots. That's what the kids are calling it these days.
A bar spot, and then sent it to Sims, and then I just bothered him repeatedly for a few months.
Like 300 texts later, we got a verse back.
And then he said, oh, hey, I'm recording it this weekend. Cool. And then he didn't. And then,
am I right?
And then I said, we're getting done with the record. Can you send a verse if you still want to? And then I had it the next day, and then I sent it to Spencer, and then we had a song.
Lovely.
Yeah, but a big
easy.
No problem.
On the next song, I Am Only Thee, which is the single, first single. Our friend Chance, who can hold his breath for 4.5 minutes.
Does it count if you pass out and think you went to another planet?
Yeah.
I think that resets the counter.
I think it does.
That was like 30 seconds tops.
Jesus.
I don't know whether Chance has posted that on Instagram or something, but it's worth, if he has, it's worth
watching.
Looking, finding this.
It is.
The brain produces DMT.
Yeah.
And it's a video of him holding his breath and having this experience. Definitely worth searching for.
Yeah, it is.
And so I love how abruptly I Am Only Thee ends with chances, there's no burning bushes left to beat around.
Yeah.
And that's such a good lyric.
I know, when I heard that, I started crying.
Yeah. What does it mean to you?
I just thought it was so beautiful. Just the whole verse, like the way he knows, I don't know, he knows that I'm in recovery, and then he was pulling in all this stuff from like that kind of doctrinate, like it's hard to accept what I can't change, stuff like that, and all that. And then I just like listened to it, and it was so powerful. I just started crying.
That is
no burning bushes left to beat around. Like there's nothing to go over anymore. You know, it was just like, I don't know. It was. It's so powerful.
Yeah, but you're on parallel paths, because that's definitely central to Chance's practice. He talks about that in the interview that we just recorded.
Yeah.
The 12-step process.
Oh, it's
following Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Not just regarding addiction to alcohol, but addiction to
everything.
Anything. Yeah. To sex, to gambling, to or there's a great book I've been reading recently called Addicted to Chaos, which kind of encapsulates everything.
Yeah, it does.
But that's in his song I Am Own Dope. Yeah, his and your song actually.
I know that one.
Yeah.
On Deep Dark Hope. Our whole interview is basically exploring. The interview with Chance is delving into that song and the process of shifting from addiction to chaos and to the external things, to developing this addiction to seeking and refining wholeness. We've just been talking about becoming oneself, basically.
Yeah.
What's I Am Only Thee saying about identity, about who we are, who one is?
I think, I mean, it was something I'd been thinking about, that you can only, how do I explain this? It's a vague thought, but you are kind of the supplies you have, you know, and you can transcend those with enough work and you know, but I was kind of just trying to make the simple statement, like, that's baseline.
Yeah.
We are what we are getting from others, we are, you know, but then it also is, it doesn't have to be that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am only the thread that I have. And there's a reference to shaking hands in the needle.
Yeah.
So we are our own work. I am my own dope. I make my own work.
Exactly.
It makes complete sense that Chance is on this one.
We're all doing the best that we can with the tools that we have.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can also improve.
Yeah.
Yes.
With enough work and enough water. Yeah.
And clarity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Water and sunlight.
And self-acceptance.
Yeah. And friends.
And friends. Friends.
It helps. Definitely helps.
Friends help.
Then we have Tell the Sea is the transition into to the song Wouldn't Know. And there's an interesting shift from I didn't know you then to I wouldn't know you later, and the song's called Wouldn't Know.
Yeah.
So what's the significance of that transition?
If I wouldn't have done these things or been this person, I wouldn't be where I am. And I wouldn't know you then. You know, like it's an acceptance song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Radical acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, we change the resources that we have through the practices that we develop.
Exactly.
And then the nature of the meeting, the encounter that can then happen is of a different kind. Yeah.
It's saying too, like, I thought what I had done, I thought I messed up, but really it led me here, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So the mistakes are catalysts.
Yeah.
And everything. There's a radical acceptance of everything, and that's what enables the transformation and the growth. And
no mistakes, only lessons.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Awesome. So that's how.
Let's get that tattooed.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Yeah. Yes.
Right after the shut up and look ugly for the homies tattoo. That one's first.
Wouldn't Know, and then Sugar Water. Those two are in this particular sandwich between Tell the Sea and Deserter. And in Sugar Water, "Don't let me come home even if I try to," is a lyric that really stands out. So it's asking for kind of to be held accountable, perhaps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Nail on the head.
Why is it called Sugar Water?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I don't know.
It's the first line in the song.
It is the first line in the song. Yeah, the lyrics make absolutely no sense. Mine, at least. K-radios do. But mine don't, and that is fine. But I was thinking about
sometimes you write
hummingbirds.
Sometimes you write a good melody,
Yeah.
and you put a bunch of vocal effects on it,
And you just
and
make,
you're good.
And you
Yeah.
just make it up. It was this idea of like something or other, and then you get her done.
Yes, and?
Yes.
Yeah, keep going.
And also with me.
Cruising around the lake with a smile on my face. So
Yeah.
we're
See, that's a coherent thought.
the driven women, the driving. driven
Yeah,
women.
that's true.
Yeah.
Bringing it all back home.
Bringing it all back in. What reflections do you have, Spencer, on the sound of the songs in this section? Wouldn't Know and Sugar Water.
Those are my favorite sounding ones.
Yeah, they're two of the more, I guess, organic arrangements on there, in terms of bringing in the trumpet on Wouldn't Know, and that one's mostly built around your guitar line, and then on Sugar Water, Mason playing a lot of the keys and stuff on it. Again, two songs with guests on them. Jake Baldwin played trumpet on Wouldn't Know, K-Radio on Sugar Water. And then, I don't know if I have a better way of describing it than like, sometimes songs just feel good together.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
In
friends.
a like, yeah, those songs are buds. In like a,
They're holding hands. They're not scared.
No, exactly.
it's like to make a DJing analogy or comparison, like sometimes songs that aren't the same tempo or in the same key still work really well together.
Yeah.
These two just like felt right together.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can narrow it down much more
Nice
specifically
maiden
than that. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And then we have a trio of Deserter, Flat Wound, and then the closing song. My favorite song of the last 2 minutes.
That's amazing.
Deserter and Flat Wound. Any reflections on those before we dig in finally to my favorite song of the last 2 minutes?
I like them.
I think that those two are especially fun for me because that's where we were getting into making instrumental things together.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So like
Playing the banjo.
Deserter, yeah. I mean, we built that. You sing like one line on it, but it's not built around a vocal. But we both contributed equally to that, made that together at the same time.
Yeah. It was my toe in to production.
Your toe playing the banjo.
Exactly. I was like, this song needs a banjo right here. And Spencer was like, no, it doesn't. It absolutely
did.
doesn't. And it did.
Wow, you found a need.
Sometimes I'm on to something.
You and your banjo.
Yeah.
And they're both really evocative titles. Why this idea of deserting, and why like the flat wound?
I couldn't tell you.
We just leave them, we'll keep them being evocative.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the ticket.
There's room for interpretation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What does it mean to you, Simon?
Yeah, what does it mean to you?
Deserting.
I like that. Because I've got no idea.
What does it mean?
We can talk about your favorite song too, though.
Oh yeah, let's focus on my favorite song. It is my favorite song after all, and it's likely to remain so. Seem to Lose. It's got Nelson on it.
It does.
Yeah, that's one of many great things about this lovely song.
Any song with Nelson is usually a good
It's
one.
a good one. Always.
The lyrics are excellent. Don't want to be a solid state in a picture frame. Keep my maiden name. I want to be the thunder under the mainland of your aging face. Mm-hmm. That is poetry.
Yeah.
Poetry to my ears. I want to be the thunder under. It just sounds nice to say.
I know. That's why I did it.
Thunder under. Yeah.
Yeah.
A plus.
Thank you. That's my favorite thing about writing is eventually you get in a stride with poetry or lyric writing or anything where you start to you just have so much fun.
Yeah.
Just messing with the inner rhyme scheme and everything. Yeah. I just have so much fun. And one day I had the thunder under and I was like, that's tight as hell. So then I was like, I gotta sit down and write something around it. So then it became this song about like, I want to be forever changeable and changing and you are that way. Yeah. But somehow I always mess something up.
Oh, somehow we all do.
We all
because we're growing. We're not just keeping it. We're not just playing it safe.
Yeah.
We're bubbling under the surface of the aging face.
Yeah.
And then we make the mistake that actually turns out not to be a mistake, but a learning opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then we're like, oh, the resources that I have shifted now because I had to respond to this challenge that I hadn't had the opportunity to encounter before.
Yes.
You gotta level up.
You gotta level up.
Yeah, you gotta level up.
Like in Mario?
You can.
Sure, that's one way.
Mario?
Or Pokemon?
Yoshi.
Yeah.
As is this song. Yoshi and this song are equally good.
Wow.
That's a high praise. That's high praise. I love
you
Yoshi.
Really leveled up on this
album review. There's at least one song that's as good as Yoshi.
Thank you. I'll take that. Good night.
We are done here.
I could walk on the darker side of the Great Divide. This makes me think of something that I know by the name of shadow work. But basically, like feeling these emotions and the pain, leaning into the pain. And then it's followed by lift you into the light.
Yeah.
So there's this journey again, and relevant. I think that we have the moon, the night.
Yeah.
But what is the significance of the moon? Why is this who did it? And
Alexis Politz did it. We wanted something a little lonely, and I actually sent her a reference photo from the Studio Ghibli film Spirited Away.
Yeah.
And so she made the same train vibe.
This is the train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going.
Journeying through the night.
Yeah. And I think that song does have that, it does touch on the shadow work where you're really like leaning into the darkness, but I think it's also a little bit of self-sacrificing or even like this kind of martyrdom, like maybe I'll be a better person if I sacrifice myself for you, or like, which is a way I used to live very much, and now I don't like to do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just reflecting on that too.
Yeah, because if you give away one's power, it's not really helping.
No, ain't helping nobody.
It ain't helping nobody, exactly. It might seem to in the present, but better off if we were all empowering ourselves, building up our resources, being dope. Becoming more and more dope.
Absolutely.
You want to be the keeper of a little hive.
Yeah, that's like my #1 goal. I cannot wait to be a mom.
Yeah, which is I want to be the softest mother.
Yeah.
The reflections on what it means to love, throughout the record. One of the things that I am only is the love that I get and the love that I give.
Yeah.
So you're building up your resources to be the softest mom.
Yeah.
To tend to keep. Keep the little hive.
To be a nurturing person.
Yeah, nourishment and nurturing. That seems to be a common theme.
Yeah.
All the way through this very wonderful record.